I love the creative industry. It means the world to me. I don't care if I'm acting in a movie, making a vlog, doing a photo shoot, drawing, designing, I live for it. And yeah, there are some people out there who have said, what are you doing? This is a waste of time. This is a waste of energy. But for me, it fills my soul and it gives me purpose in life. Creating characters and sharing them with the world, figuring out how to get that shot with my camera, how to write dialogue that will leave people breathless and on the edge of their seats. I can't get enough of it. And in this video, I'll be talking about my life through the creative industry, the struggles, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, and I'll be talking to singers, actors, and more about their life and how they work through the creative industry.
Whew. Let's get into it. You learn just from, trial and error, and this was, sorry about that, guys. Just getting out there, taking risks and learning. You learn to evolve from just failing, from practicing. And I'll show you guys some of the shots that I got from the past, from where here, like in this exact spot, where the evolution of editing, the evolution of getting better shots and just becoming a better photographer. Take risks, have fun, and enjoy it. And just know that you're gonna stumble, you're gonna fall, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And just constantly trying to just take moments where, like, okay, I messed up here, but I can improve upon there. And I'll take, when I go back to that script or that photo, or even if you're a dancer, I'll go back in the studio and just, work on taking those 2 steps so that way I can get that move down. It's just learn how to fail, learn how to get back up on your feet. That's what it all comes down to, learning to fail, learning to say, I'm not gonna give up, I'm gonna keep on trying. That relentless pursuit of just constantly evolving, constantly getting better every single day, every single time. I feel if you want to be a creative, I think the best type of creative is that when you're working on your craft, but also working on yourself, like with John Cena on that amazing podcast episode with Joe Rogan. Go throughout life being positive, go throughout life being someone who's just going to have fun and enjoy life, no matter where he is or whatever he's doing. You might be in a tough situation, but keep grinding out, because there might be that one moment where you're walking around, you're talking about what you love to do, and someone sees you doing it and they are inspired by it, and they say, hey, want to help me out with this movie, want to help me out with this production, want to help me out with this photo shoot. It's just that. Just enjoy life, have fun. One time when I was building my portfolio, I was going to work with this model. I was actually able to get my friend to help me out, and she offered to let me work with her R6. I don't know motorcycles, but it was a pretty sweet motorcycle. And she came all the way to Glastonbury, good distance away from my house. And spending time and money to do the shoot, I had prepped, I had told the model I'd be there, and it was probably a week before, 2 weeks before. I'm there at the shoot. My friend's there with her motorcycle. I'm texting the model where are you? Are you gonna show up? And she said, no, it's just a collaboration. I'm not gonna show up, I'm busy. I was like, what? And she didn't show up, and I was so upset, and I was like, how do I fix this? And so I connected recently during that time with another model, and I called her. I said, hey, I know we just met. I know this might be a little bit sketchy for you, but would you be interested in coming by? And I have this motorcycle here. You can model on it. It's got this whole photo shoot. We'll make an event of it. If you're down, please come by, and we'll do a shoot, and you can put this stuff to your portfolio. She came by, we made the most of it. It was awesome. That was probably one of the toughest moments when it comes to being creative and doing stuff with my life. But in those tough moments, you just gotta keep pushing and not stopping, just make the most of it. Another example is that I was going to Long Island, and I was working with another model building on my portfolio. She showed up late. At the location, there was 3 people. They had a Mustang, Toyota T96, and also an STI. And this was at a parking lot where it's at a mall, and it's like this big open lot. I noticed them, and they were having fun. They were taking photos with their phones, and I thought, well, you know what? Why not? Miles a little bit late. I'll make the most of this. And so I walked over to them and I said, hey, would you guys be interested in me taking some shots for you guys, and you guys can have the photos for free? And they're like, yeah, we would love that. And so I made the most of the moment, and just took some shots of their cars and gave them to them and had a grand old time, and they absolutely loved it. So it's within life, like there's gonna be moments where life knocks you down, but you just gotta get back up, and those were moments where I just felt I just had to make the most of it. Whether it was with that model that didn't show up or the model that showed up late, she did eventually show up, and we got some pretty good shots. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you're creative, you just gotta find those moments where you pick yourself back up and really just try and shoulder shrug things, because you can't let life get you down. You can't, because if you let life get you down, you're not gonna push forward. You're not gonna be able to achieve your goals. It's gonna knock you down left and right. So don't stop, keep going. One time when I was actually I wanted to start a podcast with somebody. I had just worked with this model, building up my portfolio and doing a photo shoot with her. It was all the way in New York. We got some pretty solid shots, and I was pretty happy with the shot. A month later, I thought, like, she seems pretty cool. Like, maybe I thought about starting a podcast and just talking about mental health, like helping people out and persevering through. And there was this moment I thought, well, you know what? Let me see if she wants to start a podcast with me. And asked her. She's like, yeah, let's do it. We get to the point to where we're going to collaborate and we're going to talk about the podcast, because she lives somewhere in Jersey, but it was really close. It was like right on the line to New York City. I get onto the train. We're going to meet at this cafe and talk about details and stuff. I text her. I said, hey, I'm 15 minutes away from Grand Central. I'll meet you at this cafe. And then she said, I'm not going to make it. I'm not feeling good right now. And this is crazy because I had texted her the day before she was going to be all right and good to go. And I just thought, I said to her, are you sure? Like, come on, can you try and maybe push through? And she's like, no, I'm throwing up and I don't feel good. And I was like, okay. I asked her, would you be good to FaceTime me tomorrow and talk about the podcast? She said, yeah, we can do that. And I said, okay, what time? And she never responded back to me. It was a tough day. It was another tough day for me. It's people bailing on me and, not really owning up to their word. But, during that day, I thought, I'm not going to let this day get me down. I went to American Eagle, got a flannel, and made the most of it. And also, I noticed when I was coming home in my truck, I had noticed this seaplane that was actually right on the water, and it was about to take off. And I was like, I love planes so much. I'm a huge fan of aviation and a huge fan of just all sorts of planes, whether it's a P-51 Mustang, P-38 Lightning, a lot of old World War II piston planes, and this seaplane was absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, I really want to get a shot of this plane. So basically there was the area where you could keep the planes, and then there was the area where you had to stay outside because it was a restricted zone. So it was like this giant fence. The plane's here, the fence is here, and I'm right over here. I'm trying to taking shots from a distance. I see the pilot, and I hollered over to him, and I said, hey, would it be okay if I could take some close-up shots of your plane? By the grace of God, he just said, yeah, come on over. I love them. Yeah. I got some shots, and it was another awesome moment for me, like being able to just pick my head up and say, I'm not going to let this day get me down. I'm not going to let these moments put me in a negative state where I'm never going to get back up. So just another crazy moment where I learned that you just got to keep your head up. So 3 of my favorite shots I've ever taken when venturing into photography, all been done here. I think they're all reflection shots. I've taken some great modeling shots, some product shots, but nothing beats, in my opinion, when you get a really good reflection shot. Like when Lizzie Pierce, in the video with Peter McKinnon, got a photo of this mountain where a gust of wind came by and just blew up. This gust of snow just comes up off the mountain. There's this beautiful shot of a landscape of a mountain, and that was a solid freaking shot. Like that's where I aspire to get, but one step at a time, All right, there's a store down here. We're gonna warm up a little bit. It's actually a really cool store. It's a military store. Like, you can get military clothing, you can get like boots, hats, gloves, anything. It's a really fun store to be in. This is my thing. I could wear this. When it comes to the creative process, like whenever there's moments where you're struggling, like so for me, whether it's writing, whether it's taking a photo, or when you're trying to just figure things out, sometimes, like for example, like right now, I was having trouble, finding lines, finding the leading lines, finding the composition. Learn how to get out of your own way and just take shots, take more chances, and take risks. Like getting the reps in, not being afraid.
Alrighty, guys, this is so exciting. Thanks for coming. Woof, woof. This is part of the vlog, the creative vlog. Oh my God, this. But yeah, we're gonna have a blast and take some shots. So one thing you want to keep an eye on, talking about some photography when we're doing this, is that whenever we're working with a model, always make sure they're gonna have a great time. Make sure that they're gonna be calm and ready and be able to do whatever they need to do. So, Callie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Let's have you right here. Nice little hip bump. Right there.
Okay.
All right, Amy, you're up. We were freezing our asses off in the first section of this vlog. Oh my God. I mean, I got some good at 120 frames per second footage of the snow falling, but never again. I was like, I am never doing this. This is like, it's 5 degrees out and the wind chill making it pretty much -9. So, and I was looking, and I gave him my parka. So that way he was all bundled up, and I was asking like, how are you feeling right now? And I'm pretty cozy. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. Glad you are.
Good for you.
I was just telling you, I was like, Brendan's always bringing me here when it's winter and not when it's summer for some reason. Yeah, remember I was in that like blue athletic set, and remember I was freezing my ass off. I was like jumping around. You don't remember that?
In winter?
Yeah, well, it was cold enough. I don't know if it was, you know,
No.
February or November, but either way, it was really cold.
I do not remember that. I thought it was summer. Like she looked so warm, so happy.
Because I'm a professional.
I know you are a professional.
I'm a professional.
So personally, for me, I like a little contrast. I like being able to have balance between shadow and light. I don't like a whole lot of just flat look.
I just needed a second. You can totally see what's happening. I was like,
there's this moment where you like, Lord,
I
oh
was
my
like,
God.
my eyes like reset real quick.
You just like, oh,
I'm in it. Let's go. We got it.
oh my God.
I'm locked
I love
in.
my job.
I'm logged in.
Maximize the use of this. So you're having it like this. Like this. So that way the length of it can follow up the model's body.
Okay.
There we are.
There it is. I found that. You're gonna have disgusting audio of me. It's so obnoxious.
People are gonna see this like we're never hiring her.
Like every time that Amy talks, just like put a whole bleep along the entire sentence. It's so hard, I can't see it. I was like, my face is not gonna look good.
There we go.
Open. Those are gonna be gross. Delete all of those.
You're gonna look at the raw files like, whoa, those are nice. Nice. All right, why don't you take a break? Callie, you're up.
It's getting warm. It is.
That's why I really wanted to choose today because one, the weather looked good, and also the weather was really good in terms of temp. My mom was like, it's gonna be so cold. All your miles are gonna be frozen. Like, no, they're not.
Mom's looking out for us.
I don't care. I'm just like, push through, do it.
Okay.
I did that once. I did a hip bump, like to demonstrate for a model one time. She laughed so hard she was on the ground.
I can't see it all.
For all those who will be watching this in future, I apologize for my very loud laugh. There's always this weird feeling about me shooting down, but I never actually felt comfortable doing that. I don't know why. I want to try it. How come I've never done that before? I'm doing excellent for time. We got a lot of great shots. There was a boat there making it 10 times more sick. Sorry guys, got distracted from doing some other stuff right now. 1 second. Just realized I did not have this on the entire time I had my hand over the rail. Not smart. Let's give it like 15 more minutes and we'll call it a day. Actually, let's give it to 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh my God. Oh, well, that's the case, so keep it all day.
There you go. Power the shutter.
I was like, you really gotta just go. I was like, I can't see.
Nice eye.
You can do this. Another thing on my resume.
Photographer assistant.
Just bleep out everything I said.
We're gonna make a separate vlog where it's just Amy rambling on about different things. What is the reasoning for taking the dive?
I think the fear of so many people being in a 9 to 5 and it's very bland and it's very day to day that I need the change and the excitement, and I think being able to collaborate with so many different people and meet so many different people, because everyone has a different perspective, and I think it's so fun to be able to learn and gain that perspective and go through life with more ideas of how people see whether it's creative shots or it's acting. To be able to see that different light is so exciting and interesting.
So you reached out to me. I remember being so nervous, but I've always been very intrigued with photography and modeling, and I think I just always loved the idea of experiences where you get to express yourself freely, and I think modeling really allows you to do that. Just stepping outside of my comfort zone, I think was really good for me. And I think the more I did it, the more comfortable I felt, of course. Just doing the things that make you uncomfortable, I really enjoy.
So being comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
There you go. I like that.
I've actually been doing it since I was a young child.
Okay.
So my sister introduced me to iMovie when she first got a Mac.
All right.
And then I just started making little stupid videos with my sisters. That's basically what started it. I majored in digital film and TV production. I got a degree in that. Loved the movies and all that stuff. I had a little business that I would go into restaurants and do content for them. So then when I went into college, I was like, oh, I want to do movies. Obviously, it's so hard to get into the industry. So when I graduated, I was looking for a job, couldn't find one. So I was like, you know what, let me go back to what I was doing before. And then I just kind of kickstarted my own business, made an LLC.
So you pivoted, yeah.
Yeah. And then I wanted to explore new things, so I started doing photography. And
my grandfather was a trumpet player for the U.S. Army. My mom's family, also a bunch of musicians. 4th grade, I came home from school with the pamphlet to sign up for which instrument you wanted to take. I loved the trumpet. I wanted to do it. It was the loudest instrument. I was doing chorus, theater, and band from 4th grade up until probably right about college is when I started to focus only on the instruments. I played hockey, and one of the goalies on the hockey team was a drummer in a band, and they performed at one of the small local bars. In my first 2 weeks, I went to go see them, and I was infatuated by the idea. Naturally, a year passed. I'd been playing the piano a lot and really focusing on my singing without really taking lessons or anything. It was more just what kind of sounded right. I had been friends with a bunch of people at the time who I would go individually with and try to sharpen my skills and just jam. We call it jamming. At one point I said to myself, why am I doing this all individually with these people? I want to see what happens when I can put them all in the same room. One night, I put them all in the same room and I said, let's learn some songs together. Started booking gigs, grew in popularity around the school to the point where we could draw a crowd to places in the city. And that's right about where we're at right now.
I've been a dancer since I was very little, so I danced for about 16 years of my life. Performing has always kind of been a part of me. And then I was really into theater when I was younger. I just love being able to use my creative abilities to express myself.
It is honestly the only thing that I've ever seen myself doing for the rest of my life. I was a big sports guy when I was younger. I've always had various passions for hobbies and different things, but in terms of a career, being a performer, singing, playing guitar, making music, creating visual art, that is something that I can honestly see myself doing for the rest of my life. And it just fills me up with this, undescribable fire that nothing else ever has.
What was the challenge in the beginning, but is not a challenge anymore when being in the creative industry?
I think it was just being comfortable with myself enough to put myself out there. I naturally feel that I'm very introverted as a person. I can turn it on when I need to, like obviously for modeling and whatnot and for music and all of that. But sometimes it's very hard for me to come out of my shell. Like in front of the camera, it was really hard for me to open up. And then eventually I just kind of let myself breathe into it and just rose to the occasion, I guess. I was 11 when I started, so it was a little challenging as a kid.
How do you cope with life? Like, do you work out? Do you journal? What helps you, take on life more?
Definitely doing the things that fill my cup. For me, it's definitely fitness. Working out is like the best thing for me mentally. Like I have a super close circle of friends that are like the most incredible people, and just being around them and being around positive people is like the best thing for my mental health when I need that. So yeah, just do the things that make you happy.
Personally, I just lean into trusting the process, that if I just keep going, like this time will pass. Just as like the good times did pass to the lows, like the lows are going to pass to the good times. So for me, it really is just trusting the process and making sure that I'm doing all the things that I should be doing to help myself be successful. And if I feel like I am, then I know I can just trust that it's gonna go up from there at a point. Getting out of it. So doing something like going to jujitsu, like going to the gym, or like spending time with friends that kind of like lift my spirits to get myself out of that head funk. Okay. So going to the gym, hanging out with friends that kind of keep my mind out of it.
I journal a lot.
Okay.
I need to write down my thoughts at all times, whether it's my notes app, but I always like writing. I don't really like the phones and like computers and stuff.
You like a
sometimes.
pencil, you like a paper, it all connects with you more. I think for me, when it comes to journaling, I connect with my soul more. I connect with them being able to relieve this burden off my shoulders when I write it down. Fitness at all?
Absolutely, yeah. I need to go to the gym. It's like for my mental health, because if I don't, then I'm gonna lose my mind. So I try to go every single day.
Obviously, health and fitness is something that I prioritize. It keeps me sane in the moments where I need to have that little reinforcement. Eating well, lifting, cardio, all those things are very important to me because, again, I'm also doing hockey at the same time as all of this. So I need to also keep up with my physical aspect.
I do journal and I do work out 4 to 5 times a week, like powerlifting type workouts and stuff like that. And that keeps me sane, making sure I'm like eating healthy and going to bed in a decent time frame, and just making sure that I'm monitoring myself the best that I can. And therapy is like my favorite thing in the world, and I will endorse it for everybody.
To go fishing.
Okay.
Is a way that I can connect with nature. It's a way that I can almost get myself out of my own body. And it's just a really wonderful reset for me. The sad and unfortunately realistic thing for artists of, I'm sure, pretty much every medium is that there are going to be slow periods. There's always something to work on, but you're not always going to have a project that you can put a title to, that you can see come together day in and day out. I actually just recently had maybe a 2-month stretch where I was like, wow, is this for me? Is this what I really want to be doing? And I very luckily, rather quickly realized, yes, it most certainly is for me. But in those times, I'm trying to remind myself that it is actually okay to take a legitimate rest. It's okay to legitimately have a break. And that's something that I feel like is not really talked about very much. It's always the hustle, the grind, the go, which are absolutely important. And if you don't have the drive to do that, no, you're not going to make it. But allowing yourself the grace to legitimately turn your brain off and not feel like a failure for not going nonstop, that is something that I have found to be helpful and that I'm working on allowing myself the grace for more and more.
It's very important when you're in a creative field like we are to have other passions, like how Galen has his fishing. I got really into jewelry making for a while. Recently, I've been into diamond painting just to fill that creative outlet. Again, in our career, it's up and down and up and down. And having something that you love to do is so important to creating that balance.
What gets you in the proper mindset so that way you can crush it when you're on stage, when you're in front of all those people?
I won't sit here and pretend like I've always been fully in the right headspace for a show. It's repetition, honestly. Everything has to do with repetition. Memorizing lyrics for 24, 25 different songs every 2 weeks is not something that's necessarily easy. In the past 6 months, we lost our piano player because he started writing music on his own. So I had to fill in on the piano as well. But once I get to the point of being comfortable with the lyrics and the chords of the songs that we're performing, I'll find myself sitting alone with a piano in like an echoey room, turn all the lights off, and start to play through a couple songs that I truly enjoy playing, not because I have to put on a show. That's where I'll find myself in like a happy place, I guess you could say. And that usually calms me down right before a show.
Just try to get myself in the right mindset. I just have to get myself into a place. I'll listen to podcasts. I'll listen to frequency videos. So videos that have like different sound frequencies that do different things for your nervous system. So I'm very big on like nervous system regulation. I'll try to like really just calm myself and shut out all the noise around me and put on a meditation in my headphones. And I'll just like sit there in my own peace and solitude and just really connect with my body and meditate for a few minutes.
I did a show over the summer last year at the Average Playhouse. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and Sydney was actually one of the dressers, and an incredible superhero backstage for that show. But anyway, for me personally, as a performer in that show, my preparation beforehand was mentally psyching myself up. Very, very physical. For that one, I was dancing a lot, so really healthy physical warm-up. I had a pre-show ritual of maxing out 50 push-ups in the last 10 minutes before we would go to places. And I've had other shows where I just need quiet time by myself to mentally engage with the material and the character that I'm about to portray.
Yeah, the preparation totally depends on what you're doing. There are times where, as a dancer, I will have to do a rigorous stretch and combination that will get my body ready for the performance. But then there are other things where it's more vocally challenging or more emotionally challenging. For example, if I'm going to do a show that's mostly acting and mostly emotional for me, I'm going to have to do a full meditation before I can get into the mindset of whatever character I'm playing. And I've done that a lot, where you want to be able to, especially when it comes to film, jump in and out of that character in ways that you can use it to your advantage when it comes to playing certain roles.
Touching on that meditation, do the meditations look different between different roles at all, or is it usually the same meditation?
Oh God, it's totally different depending on what you're playing. I'll sometimes create playlists for different characters I'm playing and use that to get into that character's mindset. And I mean, every person is different and every character is different and every decision is different. So you have to really specify, especially when I'm meditating, I definitely specify which roles I'm playing and how to get into that mindset. I don't think I've ever done the same meditation twice. That's you have to get your mind into whatever mode that you need, and having different objectives depending on what you're playing is so crucial into that.
Are there ever moments where you have to write things down, okay, I gotta take care of this, I gotta write this down because this has got to get out of my head or something like that?
I spend a lot of time with my thoughts. That's something that is a benefit and can also be my biggest detriment, because I'll have an idea and I'll forget it. Almost like a to-do list. So I'll grab a piece of paper, and if I have an idea or a chord progression in mind, I'll just jot it down, something that I'll remember, so that when I go back to it, I can just be oh, okay, this is something good. Or another good thing for me is voice memos on your phone. That's super helpful. And I don't necessarily need to write things down all the time, like chord progressions. It's more of just having an audio recording of it. So I can just listen back and be oh, okay, that's an A minor to a D. Okay.
So I don't really have a specific way that I write songs, because sometimes I'll get a hook in my head and I'll just have to record it on my phone really quick. Sometimes it'll just be me humming the tune of it, or sometimes I'll just have words that I'll jot down and play off of, and then eventually I'll play guitar and be ooh, this little poem or piece that I wrote before could fit really well with this guitar part. So I'll just kind of do bits and pieces. It just comes to me in different ways. Lately, for my myself, I found that I've been writing more lyrics than focusing on instrumentation. So it's just been a lot of like poem writing and figuring out the way that the words work syllabically in a song.
One of my favorite roles that I played was Melchior in Spring Awakening. That is a character who initially thinks he has everything figured out and goes through a series of really disturbing things. He loses some people close to him. He ends up in a very different place in his life at the end of the show, getting into a position where I could believably deliver those lines and portray that material. I would put myself into a situation that I could believe with people I care about in my own life, and then I would translate that into the character. I feel like that's something that I do a lot with anything that's deeper, anything that I feel like I really need to emotionally connect with. One of my favorite things that I've always noted about actors that I admire is that truly great actor, in my opinion, makes you forget that they are an actor. They make you that they are feeling, thinking, and living and breathing everything that is happening on the stage or on the screen. And you forget that it's, Dick Van Dyke playing Bert and Mary Poppins.
I will sometimes make playlists for the character I'm playing and listen to that right before I'm going on stage. Well, I was in a 2-person show where I was 50% of the dialogue. So learning that was not only difficult because I had to memorize all of that, but I also had to put the character into the memory. I will vocalize the lines and then I will listen back to my own voice saying the lines and try to kind of copy and or change what I'm feeling.
How do you manage your ego? How do you manage making sure you have a level head?
Ego is typically what makes a lot of people fall when they're thriving. For me, I recognize that there are a lot of people out there that are much more talented than me, and there's so much for me to learn. Even if it takes time of going back to the basic rudiments of playing the same 4 chords in different tonalities and different inversions and all the different arpeggiations that you can do.
Being a naturally curious person keeps me in a level-headed mindset. And just a lot of checks and balances within myself. Like I mentioned before, I'm really big on therapy. So just applying my tools from therapy just really helped me a lot.
I did a student film through a bunch of friends of mine. So I'm on set working on this film, vaguely have my lines memorized, and I'm kind of going with it because I'm like, whatever, this is low stakes. My opposite was not the best of actors. Everything she did was so overplayed, and I was very much in the director's ear being like, she needs to do something different. She's not getting it. Looking at the final result, I realized it actually worked what she was doing. And even though I'm almost positive she didn't really know what she was doing, it worked through what the character needed. Whatever you're feeling about a certain thing, whether it's oh, this isn't going the way I want it to because my scene partner isn't doing the right thing, et cetera, et cetera. You never know what's going to show up on camera, and you never know exactly what the director's vision is. And again, I've learned through experience not to insert yourself into the director's vision and to do the best I can and trust that the director knows what they're doing and that no matter what, the product will be what it is. Another thing that really lessens that ego is watching the professionals do what they're doing. The certain people that I've seen do what they do without breaking, without any kind of, and if they do break and just their focus, it really shows you that the pros are human and they know what they're doing and they're the best in the biz, yet they're still human and they understand that they're human. It really gives that ego a calm down, you're not so great.
What are some of the things you've been able to reflect on and say, God, I was able to get over that. I'm really proud of myself?
I feel like as long as I stand by all the prep and the experience that I've had, knowing that I can lean on that because I know I'm going to do a good job no matter the environment that I'm in or how anyone else is prepped, whether it's good or bad. I know that I can lean on my experience, my professionalism, and make sure that I feel very confident in that, and it allows me to do my job better.
What was something that you really learned about yourself when diving into it?
Have fun.
Don't be afraid to mess up,
Don't
right?
be afraid to mess up and do the things that make you scared, uncomfortable, and just be you.
I didn't know that I could control a crowd the way that I do. That's something that I definitely learned. I always thought of it as just me talking to people and putting on a show. Like, the show has to go on. It's going to flow through. You're going to hit through all of your hit points, or you're not, but you're still going to go from point A to point B. I also learned that just when you think that you don't know it, you really do. It was never really an issue from the start. And that was something that my band members helped me realize. In particular, one of them, his name is Sam. He's the one who was the piano player. I was very close with him. He's now making music on his own. But anyway, Sam really pulled me out of my head a lot of times and made me believe in the things that I do know, but am blocking out of my head.
I was shocked at how comfortable I was, to be honest. I had moments where I was uncomfortable, but as I pursued it more seriously in my adult years, I've found myself feeling so comfortable with being able to write music and being able to show up on set for modeling and just expressing myself creatively. I don't know, it just didn't matter who was watching me while I was doing it at some point. I was just doing it and I was like, this is so much fun. I'm in my glory. I feel like my best self while I'm doing these things, and just really paying attention to who I am as a person and how I felt while doing modeling or performing music and writing music. And it just really opened me up a lot. And it was very surprising for me because, again, I am very guarded and introverted.
I need to remind myself to tone down my emotion a little bit when I'm on camera. I am a very expressive person. I like to think I do a good job of emoting for the sake of an audience, reminding myself that the audience that I'm playing to is only a couple feet away from me, and that I can really play with a slight raise of an eyebrow or a twitch of a smile. Those are things that I'm enjoying playing with more as I do more on-camera work.
Doing something that's in front of a camera and you have all these people around you that no one can see except for you is the concentration. When it comes to being on stage, your concentration can be in 50 different places, and it really doesn't matter because it's live. The audience knows that they're there and expecting something completely different from when you see something on film. And so finding that solid in between, where when it gets too big on a stage where there's 300 people in the audience, camp isn't necessarily a thing. You actually have to go over the top in theater to be campy. However, in film, because it's so much smaller and so much more detailed, it's really easy to overplay a role.
Was there ever a moment where people thought, don't do this, is ridiculous?
One of our key mottos that I always stress to them: just go out there and have fun. We're putting on a show for them, but we're also doing this for us. And at the end of the day, we're still going to go through it. We're still going to get to the end of the night, and it's going to be a great time. When it comes to performing for 10 people or 500 people, it's all the same to us because we're going out there and we're putting it all on the line. And we're going to have just as much fun with that 10 people as we would with 500 people.
I just take it with a grain of salt, honestly, because I'm not going to stop being who I am just because somebody is putting me down and because they haven't had that confidence within themselves to try to put themselves out there the way that I am. And that's just them projecting. So I just kind of remind myself of that kind of mindset.
Sorry if they're listening to this, but there's a decent-sized chunk of people that I am related to by blood who have straight up told me to my face that they were disappointed that I didn't do this, that, or the other thing a certain way. Okay, well, I'm actually starting to, make a little something of myself, doing something that legitimately makes me happy. So thanks for your unsolicited opinion. But you can keep that. I will say I am extremely fortunate and grateful to have the vast majority of people in my life be incredibly supportive. My parents, my immediate family, my chosen family, my friends, nothing but incredibly supportive. I have an incredibly supportive girlfriend I'm super thankful for. Having that support in your life makes the voices that will come around in a negative way a lot easier to deal with. Mm-hmm. No matter what job you are trying to do, you are going to have people tell you that you're not good enough, and you're going to have people tell you that you could or should be doing something quote unquote better. I would like to tell all those people to kindly take a long walk off a short dock, not in an egotistical way, but self-caring way, to remind yourself that it is your life, it is your choice, and what you decide to do with it, as long as it is not harming yourself or anybody else, it's your choice, and you have the power and the right to decide what you do with your time, what you do with your energy, what you do with your creative genius. I think it's just really important for people to remember that. And I'm saying that as much for myself as anybody listening to this, because honestly, it's easy to forget. It's your choice. Don't let people with a negative energy get you down, because there will always be those negative voices, and there will also always be the positive voices. You just have to seek them out sometimes.
The person that most tells me you're not worth this, what are you doing with your life, is myself. It's one of those things where you have to kind of listen to yourself and say, no, this is exactly where I want to be. My voice tells me all the time, you went to school for musical theater, but you're not doing anything with it. Why would you spend X amount of dollars and be $45,000 in debt to do a career that doesn't mean much? And I've had to tell myself, no, that's not true. Like, I'm doing things and I'm loving what I'm doing. And that's the most important thing. Who cares if it's something that makes me a lot of money? The reality is, in short, yeah, money is important in today's society, but you know what's more important is your own mental health and loving what you do. I would be miserable if I was working a 9-to-5 at some desk job, giving zero weight to my creativity. So the reality is that you're your own worst enemy. And if you can block those voices in your head telling you that you're not enough and that you should quit while you're ahead, then go for it. And why would you listen to those voices anyway? Because they're not doing anything good for you.
What would you tell people today, like if they're a little scared getting into the creative industry?
Just to go for it anyways. Like, what do you have to lose? You're trying. Just put yourself out there and be yourself. Like, be as authentic as you possibly can be to like who you really are.
In the few situations where I find myself feeling capable of giving advice, don't listen to your head. It's going to get all messy up there. Don't listen to your heart. It's going to get real messy in there. Listen to your gut. Mm-hmm. Your gut is not going to steer you wrong. If your gut is telling you something is wrong, pay attention to that. If your gut is telling you something is right, there's probably going to be a voice in your own head telling you you're crazy, you can't do this, you're not capable of this, you're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Listen to your gut. If you've got something pulling you, it feels like you've got a rope attached to your belly button and it's just pulling you in some direction, follow that rope. Have idols, have people that you admire, have people that you look up to and hope to be like someday. But never forget that you are your own unique superstar and that you're not going to be the people that you idolize. You can try to follow in their footsteps, but it's not going to be their name being played by so-and-so up on that billboard. It's going to be your name.
Trust your confidence and trust that no matter what happens, you are capable, because everyone is different and everyone serves a different purpose in life. Give yourself the confidence to be able to do what makes you happy and what makes you confident and what makes you love, you know? And that's the big thing. It's like, for me, I love being a part of this industry. And that's all that really counts, is that I love doing this and I would do this forever and ever and ever. And that's the thing. That's the thing.
Any specific moment, this is why I love being in the creative industry, or I love being a part of this?
Well, I have that moment every time I leave a modeling set. I love that. And I also have that feeling whenever I walk off from playing music. It's like an everyday thing, you know, like I like to appreciate every moment for what it is. I just wake up and listen to certain songs every morning to get myself going and remind myself of who I am and whatnot.
So whatever it is you want to do in life, go out there and try it and enjoy your life, you know, have fun. And yes, you will stumble along the way. Believe me, I know. 10 years ago, I was in a car accident and I thought my life was over. But by the grace of God, I survived. And after that, I went from job to job and building skills, building money up. And even during that time, I got knocked down again and again. But I got back up again and again. Brushing that dirt off my shoulder, continuing to move forward. And now I'm here, with my head held high, doing what I love to do. And I encourage you all to do the same. So, that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and there's more to come. See you guys.